Imagine this. Your mom has just passed away. You're drowning in grief. Your world feels like it's crumbling. And the one person who's supposed to comfort you, your boyfriend, calls you selfish. Selfish for asking him to come home early from his boys' night. But what if I told you that wasn't even the worst part? What if I told you he was secretly spreading lies about you, twisting your pain into a weapon against you? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. And today, you're going to hear how I found out the truth and how I walked away for good. If you've ever had someone betray your trust, if you've ever been lied about or underestimated, then stick around, because this story is going to feel painfully familiar. And I promise you, at the ending, it's worth every second. Hit that like button, subscribe if you love true stories of revenge and justice, and let's dive right in. The story begins with loss. My mom had just passed away. The grief was unbearable. It was like my chest was caving in every time I tried to breathe. Most days I couldn't even get out of bed, and through all of this, I thought I could lean on my boyfriend. We had been together for a couple of years, and while he wasn't the most romantic or supportive guy in the world, I thought, at the very least, when tragedy hit, he'd be there. So one night, in the thick of my grief, I called him and asked if he could come home early from his boys' night. Just be with me, just sit with me. That's all I needed, but instead of comfort, I got anger. He told me I was being selfish, that I was trying to control him, that I couldn't expect him to drop everything just because I was sad. Sad? My mom had just died, and in that moment, I felt more alone than ever. But as painful as that was, I had no idea the betrayal ran even deeper. A couple of days after I shared my story online, something happened that would flip my entire world upside down. One of my boyfriend's friends messaged me. His tone was hesitant, almost guilty, but he asked me point blank, "Did you post that on Reddit?" I admitted I had, and then he dropped a bomb. Apparently, before my boyfriend left their boys' night, the same one I had begged him to leave early, he had been trashing me in front of everyone. He told them I was a psycho, that I wasn't even close with my mom, that I barely talked to her, and that I was using her death as some manipulative excuse to drag him away from his friends. He called me fake. He told them I pretended to be nice when I was around, but behind their backs, I insulted them. He even went as far as to say I faked my personality just to impress them. And the worst part, he had apparently been doing this for our entire relationship. Every fight, every disagreement, we'd argue, and then he'd go straight to his friends with a completely fabricated version of events, painting himself as the victim and me as some controlling, manipulative girlfriend. That night, my grief turned into rage. I waited until he came home and I confronted him. At first, he denied everything. His face went pale, his voice cracked, but he tried to gaslight me. They're lying. You know I'd never say that. But the more I pressed, the more the cracks showed. And finally, he broke. He admitted it all. Every lie, every twisted story. And then, just like clockwork, came the tears. He cried, begged, said he didn't know why he was like this. He said he loved me. He said he couldn't live without me, but you know what he didn't say? "I'm sorry I wasn't there when your mom died." That was it for me. I started packing. He followed me around the apartment, pleading, grabbing at my hands, promising he'd change. But as I stuffed clothes into my bag, all I could think about was this. If this is how he treats me during one of the darkest times of my life, what happens if I stay? What happens the next time tragedy strikes? I moved in with my brother temporarily. He didn't know it at the time, but I had already made my decision. I wasn't coming back. And here's the thing, you might be wondering, was he always like this? Were there signs? The truth is, no. He wasn't an awful boyfriend. He wasn't amazing either. He was fine. Average. Which is why his behavior when my mom passed seemed so out of character. But that's the thing, it wasn't out of character. It was who he really was, just not with me. With his friends, he had a completely different persona. One where I was the villain, and he was the poor, long-suffering victim. And thanks to one honest friend, I finally saw the mask slip. So what's the revenge here? It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, it was quiet, but final. I cut him off completely, blocked his number, removed him from my life like he had never existed. And the best part, his own friends now know the truth. That perfect boyfriend act he put on with them. It's unraveling, because once someone like that gets caught, the doubts never stop. Every story he tells from now on will have a shadow hanging over it. I didn't have to scream, I didn't have to beg, I didn't have to destroy him. He destroyed himself. My revenge was simple, leaving him to sit in the ruins of his own lies while I rebuilt my life without him. And let me tell you, sometimes walking away is the sweetest revenge of all. In the end, I realized something important. Revenge doesn't always look like payback. Sometimes the real justice is refusing to let someone continue hurting you. He lied, he betrayed, and he showed me who he truly was. And I believed him. Now, I'm free, and I know my mom will be proud of me for walking away. So tell me, what would you have done in my shoes? Have you ever had someone lie about you behind your back, only to be exposed later? Drop your story in the comments, because I know I'm not the only one. And if this gave you chills, smash that like button. Subscribe for more stories of revenge and justice. And remember, karma always finds its way.